Hello and welcome. In my last talk, I discussed how emotions can be transformative, how learning to sit with our feelings can teach us something about ourselves. Today, what I'd like to discuss with you is how your emotions and the way you experience them can actually change the way your brain functions. For example, if we're used to experiencing a certain reaction in terms of certain stimuli, say for example, visiting somebody's house always causes you to have a negative reaction to one of the members of the household. As soon as you anticipate going there, you start to tense up and your brain starts to drop certain chemicals into the body. So you might get a rush of adrenaline, which then stimulates the fight or flight response. Now, because we live in a society where we tend not to exercise that response in the way it was originally intended, you're probably not going to run away rather than go visit that person, especially if somebody in the household is somebody you do like to see. And you're probably not going to physically fight. You're not going to pummel the person that gets on your nerves. So what happens is, with all that extra adrenaline sitting in the body, we experience stress because the heart gets pumping more strongly, all the muscles get fired up, ready to take some form of action, and nothing happens. So all that extra adrenaline running through the body can actually be damaging. So what do? How do we change our response? The more that you change your thought process regarding certain events, the more that you actually give your brain the opportunity to rewire itself. Yes, you actually can rewire the structure of your brain. Thought patterns set up certain neural pathways. So you get a certain stimulus, you have a certain response, and a certain neural pathway is formed to give the same response each time. I fear, or I get upset or angry about the situation, I drop adrenaline into the body. When we consciously choose to change our reaction, and we do that often enough, the old neural pathways don't work anymore. They actually break down and new neural pathways form, pumping different chemicals through the body. So for example, if you can develop a pleasure response to a situation or a relaxation response instead of one that's fight or flight, you're more likely to drop endorphins into your body. So the more you can relax about a situation, the more the new neural pathways will be stabilized that are producing endorphin instead. So how do we go about changing the way we think? We can get pretty stuck in our ways, very sure that the other person is the issue, that if they would just change their behavior, maybe I wouldn't have such a negative response. Well, that can be a solution. Sometimes we can have a discussion with somebody and we can change that response. They might understand, oh, I had no idea I was upsetting you. I won't do that anymore. I have new communication with you now. I don't have to react to that. That can sometimes be the solution, improved communication. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes, for whatever reason, we don't feel we can communicate with the other person, we're not comfortable with it, or it might be a situation that doesn't involve somebody else's cooperation. It might be something like having to give a talk in front of large groups of people. We can't really ask them to reassure us. We have to find a way to find that confidence and centeredness ourselves. So how do we go about doing that? Well, there are many ways. We can learn to meditate. We can learn to breathe deeply into a situation. And quite often, that can be an extremely useful tool. Just by taking deeper breaths and creating a state of relaxation through deep breathing, we automatically move out of the brainstem, which is where our fight or flight reflex happens, and into our neocortex, where the reasoning capacity is, where we're more likely to find a way to calm ourselves down. But if you have a very strong trigger response to certain stimuli and no amount of consciously trying to work your way out of it is helping, that's where PSYCH-K can be very useful, known as psychological kinesiology. PSYCH-K works at the subconscious level to change those thought patterns. So, for example, if you've always had a certain reaction to certain stimuli, maybe you don't even know why you're having that reaction. Maybe it was hardwired into your thinking from a young age. That can be changed with PSYCH-K. Even if it was something where you were simply observing somebody else being fearful about a situation and you learned to fear that and you don't remember anymore why you have that fear reaction, PSYCH-K can help. Working with you, I help you to understand what it is you want to feel in a given situation. And then through muscle testing, we establish a connection with your subconscious mind. And we ensure first that your subconscious is absolutely fine with making this change. If it isn't, if it tells us, for example, that it doesn't feel safe and appropriate to make this change, we look even deeper. We look at what is underlying that, and we tackle that issue. So PSYCH-K goes deep. PSYCH-K works to shift the subconscious to the point where those old patterns no longer take hold, where a new belief system is in place, one that enables you to overcome fear, overcome limiting beliefs, often with very quick results. I've seen some amazing turnarounds in clients that have used PSYCH-K to change their beliefs about abundance, to lose weight, to improve their ability to cope with relationships, work issues, career changes, life changes of all kinds. Because when you change things at the subconscious level, you only have to do it once. When you try to work at the conscious level, using affirmations, repeating phrases to yourself, it's not as powerful as your subconscious. So if the subconscious belief is stronger, it's going to win out. That's why PSYCH-K is so effective. It works at the subconscious level to change your thinking there. And once you've done that, the body will adapt. The brain will rewire itself to accommodate the new belief system that is sitting in the subconscious. It's kind of like throwing a pebble into a pond. As soon as you do a PSYCH-K balance, over often a day or a few days, you start to notice a ripple effect. It can be subtle or dramatic, but you start to notice that those things that used to upset you or stop you in your tracks no longer do so. So if you're interested in exploring PSYCH-K further, if you'd like to work with me, I would be more than happy to work with you. I do offer PSYCH-K basic and advanced balances worldwide by phone and Skype, as well as at my office here in Kelowna, BC. So I look forward to working with you and helping you to rewire your brain for joy and success. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.